Live from New York, it's Wonder Woman.
Hey,
now it's Ask an
everybody.
Engineer.
I got my gauntlets of truth. I don't know.
Yeah. Lasso of truth.
Lasso of truth. What are the
It
gauntlets
works.
of what? Gauntlets of bullet deflection.
Bing, bing, bing,
Do they have a name now?
Bing, bing, bing.
Just gauntlets, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Ask an Engineer. It's me, Ladyada, the engineer. With me, Mr. Ladyada on camera control,
Hello.
behind the scenes, videography, sound, and more. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit headquarters in downtown Manhattan. That's behind us. This is where we do all our kitting and manufacturing and shipping and packing and videoing and coding and more. Everything happens here, but right now the factory is asleep and I'm a little burpy. The factory's asleep because everyone is at home. They're done for the day. It's just us, Mr. Ladyada, and myself. And we're going to kick it off with about 1 hour of the latest in burping, news, electronics, making, hacking, crafting, coding, and more.
Toddbot said gauntlet of wristness, which I think is funny.
Gauntlets of wristness. Okay. Yeah.
Well, no, sorry. JP said gauntlets of wristness, and Toddbot said gauntlets of solder mask.
Gauntlets of solder mask.
Yeah, I like that. It's pretty good. Gauntlets of solder. Gauntlets of the Great Search. Yeah. All right. On tonight's show, the code is micropots. 10% on Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Gets you 10% off in the store. All the things that we have in stock. Use it or lose it. It's tonight only. We have a bunch of live series of shows, including Show and Tell, which just happened a few moments ago. We'll talk about that. Time travel, look around the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, and more. Chip shortage, it's back because it's never ending.
Yeah.
It's a chip shortage every day in every way. This week's chip shortage will be from Toshiba. We'll do from the mailbag, letters from you to us. We got some advanced manufacturing made in New York City, factory footage, and more. We got some 3D printing. We got Ion MPI. This week's is Renaissance. And wait until you see this cool video. If you liked last week's video, you're going to like this one even more. New products, a bunch of top secret. We're going to answer your questions. We do that over on Discord, adafruit.it/Discord. We were 34,000 people. Now we're 35,000 people. It's a big old community. Come on by. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Yay!
All right, so the code is micropots. It is not a dispensary that is opening up down the street. It's just the name of the code because
What is this? Weed for ants?
Yeah, because we have a lot of these. We'll talk about that later, but that's why. That's the reason. That's the code, Ladyada. But when people order stuff, they get free stuff.
We have freebies, and we're back to
Yeah.
having our quad freebie collection. I'm so psyched. It's actually a good sign. It means we're able to get some parts back in stock. $99 or more, we get a free Permaproto half-size breadboard. Great for taking your breadboard project. Use our premium breadboards, which people are loving, and making them permanent. $149 or more, you get a KB2040. I love this little breakout. I use it for developing all sorts of libraries and code because it's got lots of pins, it's castellated, it's got a STEMMA QT port, it's got an RP2040, which is a chip you can get, and USB-C. So what do you not love about this? I don't know. It's even in pink. Everyone loves pink. $199 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping in the continental United States. It's trackable and it's insured. And not just because of popular demand, that's not enough. We also have to have the parts to make it, and we got some parts. We've got the Circuit Playground Express, our all-in-one dev board that we love so much. It's got a SAMD21, which we were able to get. Tons of sensors, buttons, piezo, switches, capacitive touch, tons of NeoPixels, and it works with Arduino, Code.org, CS Discoveries, MakeCode, and of course, CircuitPython.
Okay, and don't forget, if you're going to order stuff on Adafruit, just a good idea in general for all the sites you use, but in particular Adafruit, because we offer this, do two-step authentication. So you make an account on adafruit.com, you verify your email, and then you set up a two-step authentication. That'll allow you to buy things like Raspberry Pis, which we do limit to verified accounts that have two-step auth turned on. Okay, Adafruit Live, series of shows. We do a bunch, including Show and Tell. Thanks so much, JP. JP hosted the Show and Tell this week. I got a chance to glance by it really fast. So I'm going to watch all of it. Y'all can do that too and get all the highlights and more. I'm Pedro next week, and then the week after that will be Liz, and then after that, Melissa's going to try hosting. So we're mixing it up. Come by, and then I think one of the weeks Some folks from Hackaday are going to stop by, and then we invited some of the folks from Makerverse, Adam Savage and his team, who's doing the Silicon event in August. So we'll see. We have a bunch of folks that are going to come on the show and tell that we're scheduling up. So look forward to that. On Sundays, we do From the Desk of Ladyada. It goes in two parts. This week, we showed some things that we were working on, events and more, but what was the part one?
Okay, so part one, we showed off the 3D model.
I'm going to show that later.
Yeah,
in
the
the show
model
too,
of the van. I also talked about, I'm designing some cowbells, so talked about some of the process with that. And also a de-zombification of the Easy Link and Easy Key board that I've not been able to manufacture because I couldn't get modules. I'm going to try to redesign it with an ESP32. However, here's the deal, folks. Do not ask me every week when it's coming out because I don't know. We have to write all the code all over again.
Yeah.
I will get it out as soon as I can.
You know, what's interesting
Promise.
is how this works out, because this is how I have a high surface area with requests and stuff. And I know it's hard, but here's what I try to think about.
I notice people just love this stuff.
Well, it's also, so everyone doesn't get together and share the information that they've asked. So for each person, it's new and helpful.
It's true. It is. It's one of the 10,000 people a day who are learning about the Easy Key for the first time.
Yeah.
But really, we are working on it, but we have to port all the code all over again. To the platform.
And so I think the analogy I could best think of, imagine if your name was Michael Bolton. And
like the singer?
Yeah. and even though everyone doesn't get together and do that, and know that they've already asked that question.
Has anyone told you that there's a singer?
Are you a fan? This is an Office Space comedy thing. But I think you get the point. And so, sometimes, especially now, we get asked a lot, when is this going to be back in stock? When are you going to have this? When are you going to redesign that? And it's a bunch. But we know that y'all have best intentions.
Okay.
And the folks who don't will politely say, like, please don't be so mean when you ask.
Yeah. Okay, it's true. Please be nice when you ask.
We also did this segment called The Great Search for how can I get that part I need, because I can't get the parts I need anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to extend the name of the title. What was this week's Great Search? Okay,
this Great Search is, as I'm working on these cowbells, I needed a new micro SD card slot because the micro SD card that I use, the holder that I use for a lot of our boards, is just like 2 millimeters too wide. And so I went on the hunt for a slim, skinny micro SD card holder that's not a hinge type. I wanted a push-pull type, and I like the one that's used on the Teensy 3.6. So I kind of looked to see if I could find something that's just like that. Yeah, and then this weekend, Desk of Ladyada, we'll have a bunch of things, and I think we're going to show something really cool. So someone said a good trick to do is when people say, when will something be back in stock, just say next Tuesday. Or just Tuesday, but just don't say what Tuesday. Oh, like on Tuesday? Okay. Yeah. But I think we're going to have a fun thing for Desk of Ladyada. Always tomorrow. Week, yeah. Okay, JP's product pick of the week. That's the show that we do inside of a product page each week. And here's this week's highlight.
NAU 7802 24-bit ADC. I'm going to take a Clue and plug that in. I'm using some crimp connectors connected up to a load cell. Looks a lot like this one, except this one I have mounted to a little metal plate, and I've added a little place to set something that you're weighing. I will take a container, and now I'm going to tear this scale. I'm going to hold the button there. It's going to remove the weight that it sees on there from the starting point, so now we're at 0. I'll start pouring these in, and you'll see that the weight is going up and up. 18, I went a little over. I'll pull some out of there. Okay, watch this. I'm going to put one bean in, and you can see it's really precise measurement. That went up to 18.1 from 18. It is the NAU 7802 24-bit ADC for measuring strain gauges and load cells.
Okay, and then don't forget, on Thursdays we have JP's workshop, including the segment CircuitPython Parsec.
I learned from.
That's right. And then on Fridays, we have Deep Dive with Tim, Funny Guy. And I'll talk about this during the Python on Hardware section, but do tune in leading up to Circuit Python Day, which is Friday, August 19th. It's a company holiday here at Adafruit, and it's a worldwide celebration that we do online and more about all the things going on in the world of Circuit Python and the community. And we're giving away some tablets. Thank you, K-March and Tim, for helping out. They're on their way, and I'll talk about this, and Tim will talk about this. I have a little segment in the upcoming newsletter section. But tune in, because you can find out how to get one of these. These are really cool. All right, time travel. Okay, so I went to Hope, Hackers of Planet Earth. This was at St. John's University. The team at 2600 did an amazing job. St. John's University was an excellent venue. It was safe. It was good to get together. It's been a really long time. I have a couple of photos. I always ask people if it's okay if I post, if I took photos or if I was in a session or something like that. So I'm waiting to hear back from some folks. But I do have some things I can share right now. So as you entered the venue, the 2600 van, famous van, was out there. This is a 1981 Dodge van, and this is always, it's in all the photos for every, hacker event and maker fair and everything. And this year I decided, this van ain't gonna last forever, or at some point it should be put in a museum. It's it's supposed to look like a Bell phone truck. These are iconic.
I don't even know what people know in New England.
Yeah,
telephone
some people are
trucks.
like, what is this?
that?
Yeah.
9X.
And so what I did is I used my phone and I did a 3D scan of it. And I think this is the first time it's been 3D scanned. So you can see, I got a good scan of it with, the phone tools I have. I was able to take enough photos so I could do some interesting things later. But the idea is making a 3D printed one, or one of those like die-cast ones. And I just wanted to get all the details right. So I emailed Emmanuel and Kyle, who are the folks who I hang out with there, and who run 2600 and Hope. And we'll see. So I'll keep you all updated. This is a fun little art project I want to do, kind of preserving this interesting thing. There's a free Kevin sticker on it. This is a really neat piece of hacker history. And I was also thinking, Ladyada and I walk around New York City, and sometimes we'll come up with these little word puzzles, like like all things that have huts, like Sunglass Hut, Pizza Hut, Jabba the Hutt kind of counts, but not really. And one of the ones I think we should come up with when we walk around this weekend is hacker cars or hacker vehicles.
Ooh, hacker vehicles. That's a good one.
So Mudge's like Camaro, that's one.
Well, that's just like it's literally a hacker's car.
Yeah, but a hacker's car, they're kind of famous enough, but like the 2600 van is one. And then any movie that has a hacker in it. Rollerblades, that's not really a vehicle, but like kind of sort of, there's like hacker transportation.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'll leave it to the chat. So anyways, I took some photos.
Okay.
This has been around for decades.
That is
Yeah, there was some cat-shaped hardware. We saw some folks that were doing some
Fun.
cool Circuit Python stuff. The booth, they had these really neat folks that were from the local New York area. FSF was there. You've got a bunch of folks that do books. EFF was there. Our friends Amy and Ariel from Sparkle Lab Electronics. No Starch Press, one of the best publishers for all things maker related, and certainly they have kind of the best hacker crypto books and more. They also have like really neat Python books as well. So they were there. And then there were some nerds helping nerds in time of need. This is Operation Hammond. I stopped by and saw them. And then I think this was the thing that we helped out with because they needed a Raspberry Pi really bad. It was this like wireless like location game thing. It was Hope in Real Life. And then of course, hardware hacking area, ham radios. And I got to see Mitch, who I have not seen in 3 years. So I'll be seeing Mitch in person again later. But we were able to, I talked to Mitch online, but I haven't seen him in person in a really long time. So it was really good to see Mitch. And then Bia from Girls Who Hack stopped by Adafruit right before that. So
Yeah, it was great to see
all
her.
in all, it was really good. And again, congrats to everyone at Hope.
They did it.
Who did a fantastic event. And boy, it's been a crazy last couple of years. Okay. A little reminder for AdaBox. It's gone from winter to spring to summer, and it'll probably be summer fall edition. We're chipping away, getting all the parts we can. It's happening, but we're not going to bug you with an email until we know a date. So if you have any questions, you can always email our team. We update adabox.com. And of course, we don't charge cards and all that until we ship. So thank you everyone who's been patient, because y'all know what it's like. And then the other thing, and the reminder, and I'll do this during the other segment with the CircuitPython and MicroPython and Python on Hardware News, is on August 19th this year, we're doing CircuitPython Day. So don't forget about that.
Bam.
All right. Well, that's all the good news. And then here's the reality. Here's the reality bucket. The only thing everyone likes about the chip shortage is that song.
But it is a great song.
Thank you.
Very catchy.
Willie in the chat.
Yeah.
So this week, Toshiba, we need a bunch of these.
Hey, Toshiba.
What are these, Ladyada?
Hook us up with some TB6612s.
Yeah. So this is them, huh?
Yes, we have many thousands on order. I think we ordered them back.
Oh. We ordered
2020.
18,000 of these back in December 2021. It's pretty much August. We still need 6,000.
Yeah, please ship us some.
So this is from our internal system. And what are they used in at Adafruit?
We use them in a lot of our motor shields and motor feather wings and motor drivers. And we sell a lot of these. People love these motor drivers. They're great for steppers, for DC motors. The TB6612s are great because they have built-in diodes, kickback diodes. I think they have a max current of 2 amps. They're really reliable. You can PWM them. They're overall just awesome DC and or stepper
So
motor driver chips.
I went to the site and it's like purchased, but like that's just messing with me. You
Yeah.
go to the DigiKey site, and as you can imagine, zero stock.
There's none.
This is life.
I know. But maybe Mrs. Toshiba can hook us up.
Yeah. And I know you're not supposed to like want and desire things because that's suffering, but you know, we ordered these, and
I would like them.
our customers would. So
Yes.
this is like, so anytime
And
there's,
this is to help people build cool, fun robots.
yeah, we're using these for good. We're not.
These are not being used to hurt anybody.
This is for the youngins.
No kittens are being crushed to death by these motors. These are only
so
the happiest
Toshiba
motors.
will drop you a note. We'll send you a link. We respect you. You know we respect you, but we just have a bunch that we order, and we just want those.
Please. We order a year's worth at a time.
Yeah, we plan this.
We do order
We pay in
ahead of time.
advance. We do everything.
Please.
So
Please.
that is this week's chip shortage. We really need them. Thanks so much. Please, Mr. Toshiba, can you please send them? We'd really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's chip shortage. Okay, so that was the chip shortage news. Let's continue to go through the multiverse. We'll change the channel and go to where there's some excellent vibes coming our way. Because you know what's available? Send in great emails to us. That's not at a shortage. So we get your letters. Lots and lots of letters. So this week, this is from the mailbag. These are the emails that folks send us. I absolutely love your packaging lists, or packing lists. I know what a strange thing to say, but seriously, you have the best packing list ever. Color picture of the items, part numbers in bold and blue and larger font. Love, love, love it. So one of the things that we like to do is also put quotes on there. So if you ever go to adafruit.com/quotes, you can see all of our quotes that we have that go into the invoices. And those come from people in the community. So they're inspirational. They're things that are hopefully will inspire you. Maybe it'll make you think about sharing with one another or thinking about that person who helped you so you can help someone. And so there's a lot of cool quotes like that. It's Python on Hardware time. All right, so this week in the newsletter, we have a CircuitPython 7 update. 7.3.2 has a bunch of bug fixes.
Yes, Dan Halber has been actually fixing a lot of issues with airlift boards and libraries and just cranking through a bunch of stuff. So even though we are working on 8, which is has a lot to do with Wi-Fi and workflow and adding ESP32 support, we are still keeping up to date with 7.3 series, and of course, all of those changes will be in 8 as well. So if you're up for it, please use 8. But we definitely recommend if you're still on 7 to upgrade to 7.3.2, particularly if you're using airlift boards.
Yeah. So we noted that we hit our latest milestone in Discord. Thank you, everybody. We have about almost 5,000 people there at any time, and then altogether 35,000 people. Our Discord's a little different than other Discords for folks who are multiple servers. So our goal isn't to have like 35,000 people all there at once. And I know like Discord will give you certain perks if you're a community or server or brand or company. If you have like massive amounts of people at the same time, what we usually have is people who come in for help showing their projects, and then they go and make stuff. So we don't have
help others.
Yeah, so we don't have as many of the Discord perks that they give you, but we do have a lot of members. We just don't have them all at the same time, but we still have quite a bit. So anyways, if you're wondering like why we don't have all the same flare buttons and stuff like that, there's a panel inside of Discord that says you need to have, like, for the number of people you have to have more people on at the same time. And I've tried to explain this to Discord that we're a little different, but I get it. Like, we're unusual for how we use things. We always kind of use things and maybe how they're not intended, but that's why we're all here. So anyways, tons of projects and more. I thought there was a pretty neat entry in the newsletter, and did a post and also put it in there. It's like, how do you steer all of Python? So there's an article about...
It's a big project.
There's an article. It's like, how does it actually work? What does the steering committee do? What does Python Software Foundation do? What's the benevolent dictator role in the past? All those things. So check out all the different stories and more, all the things that we do every single week. Oh, that's nice.
Motor.
A little Blinka snake. Yeah, that's nice graphic.
She wants a TB661 too.
Lots of e-ink and badges and more. And then Joey's been kind of like doing a real-time thing with like, here's how I do drivers with CircuitPython. So all that being said, the thing that I'm really excited about is CircuitPython Day, which is August 19th, Friday.
Coming up in about a month.
And
4 weeks.
this is from K-Match. And these are the CircuitPython powered tablets, and we're giving them away. And here is a note from Tim.
Hello everybody, Foamy Guy here. Today I'm excited to share the details for the CircuitPython Hack Tablet giveaway. There are links to this announcement and the entry form in the description below. To summarize, you may now enter to win an ESP32S3 powered Hack Tablet using the entry form linked below. On August 3rd, we will select the first 3 individuals to receive tablets, giving priority to those willing to help test or develop this functionality for 2 out of those 3 tablets. On August 26th, we will select 2 more individuals to receive the remaining tablets. Everyone who didn't get chosen on the 3rd will be automatically entered, along with anyone who submits an entry form prior to the 26th of August. Thank you for watching, and special thanks to K-Match for making this giveaway possible.
So it's kind of a big deal. We're going to have CircuitPython powered tablets that we're going to send out to some folks.
Recycle tossed out stuff.
So there was a question in chat. We'll bundle this up into the Python on Hardware section, because I think it's interesting from your point of view, Ladyada, because you're one of many people who work on CircuitPython. But when do we decide to do something like, CircuitPython 7.3.2 is solid enough? When do we say it's time for 8?
Well, 8's being worked on right now. The question is when 8's ready, and the answer is when we have enough people who've used it, given us feedback, and we've finished up the bug list. So we have a bunch of issues and bugs tagged in CircuitPython. People who are beta testing open them, and also we find them, and also there's stuff that we want to get finished in development. We'd like to get an alpha or something, or a release candidate or a beta out for CircuitPython Day. So the thing that you can do to help is try out 8, alpha, whatever we call it, mainline, latest release, and let us know what doesn't work so that we can fix it, and that'll get us closer and closer to the release.
Just like maybe in your experience seeing other open source projects, or even our work with CircuitPython, do you think it's an amount of time where we're like, 7 is stable, let's start experimenting with 8, or is it like a combination of two, like where we want people to break 8 because we have a bunch of changes? Like, when is it time? Is it use?
It's both. We do major releases when we have major changes. So, for example, I think the MPY format might be changing because we keep upstream with MicroPython, right? So when they make a big breaking change or something that really changes the experience, that's a major revision. Otherwise, we just keep using the version we're on right now. For 8, we're adding, this Wi-Fi workflow. It's a pretty big change. We're adding ESP32. It's a different way of using CircuitPython boards. It's a new family of chips. And so for that, we wanted to go in this MPY change. There's a couple other breaking changes, I think. So what we try to do is, if we remove something, that kind of goes into a major revision as well. So that's how we know when to move from 7 to 8.
Yeah. And then let me go to adafruit.com/new. For folks that are super fans, so we don't have a lot of these, so that's why we're not putting it in the new product section, but I'll put this in the Python on hardware section. So if you scroll down, because this was a coming soon product, you will notice. Did I pass it? No, I didn't. Okay, there's only 14 left, but we have CircuitPython 8 posters because we try to make sure we have posters for the team. And this one we got special permission from Espressive to do a CircuitPython launch poster.
Yeah,
so
cool.
There's only 14 left, and that's probably going to be it.
We don't make more.
Yeah, probably going to be it. So if you were wondering when 8's going to be out, usually a poster happens, and then a few things happen later. And that's this week's Python on Hardware. Don't forget, you can get this delivered to your inbox every week. It's a completely separate site because we don't believe in spamming or anything like that. And that's this week's Python on Hardware, Ladyada.
Thank you, Blinka.
Okay. All right, Ladyada, we're an open source hardware company.
It's true.
And to prove it, we do a bunch of guides.
Yeah, let's go to our new guides.
Yeah, and this week, because I was really busy, I didn't put the graphic in the same way. We're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to just go to the Learn system.
Yeah, I will say that there's a lot of updated guides.
There's a lot of updated guides anyways.
So what happened is that I realized that some of the newer Feather guides were missing the power management page, and we also have a new templating system, and so Kattni and Eva have been going through and updating all of our Feather guides to have a consistent power management page, which is like 99% the same from product to product.
Yeah.
So you'll see all these feathers are getting updated. There's basically the power management page, which actually shouldn't look any different. Also the Funhouse and the mag
But
tag.
then here's some of the newer ones.
Okay, so what got updated? So go back up one.
Yeah, these are...
Okay, so no, go back down. No,
Okay.
don't stop. Go down, like one row. Go down one
You
row.
want this row?
One more row.
One more row.
Great. Thank you. Little driver.
Yeah.
Take a left, take a right. That's our exit. Okay, so the SD 9DOF combo breakout. So this got updated thanks to Liz. The reason it got updated is the LSM6DS33 plus LIS3MDL breakout is no more. We can't get the DS33, so we have the DS3 instead. And so we've just updated this guide to indicate the new breakout that we're using in the sensor. All the tutorial on how to use it with the 9DOF is now updated. So thank you, Liz. Liz also did an IoT food scale with Azure and CircuitPython. We're doing a bit of a partnership with Microsoft and Azure because CircuitPython is a really, really great way to do microcontroller IoT projects. You've got a REPL, you've got error messages, you've got lots of drivers, you've got string handling, like a lot of stuff that's really hard to do with C or C++ or Arduino is really easy with CircuitPython. And we want to show how we can make little devices that can connect to Azure for making, prototyping or building fairly complicated interface devices.
A lot of folks, they'll learn with CircuitPython, with Adafruit IO, with Whippersnapper, and then they're like, oh, I have like a really large project, really a big industrial project, a really big, heavy project that needs like servers.
Yeah.
And so
Azure is big.
And so that's why we said, well, we don't want Adafruit IO to be that. And what we'll do is we'll show folks how to learn things with CircuitPython, with Adafruit IO, with Whippersnapper. And then when you're ready, here's the bridge to something like Azure. And we show, like, if you've learned this here, here's how to go to the next thing.
There's a lot to learn. So I practiced using Azure before we did this project because I was like, well, I have to make sure that this is something that we can do. And what's interesting is, Azure is pretty intense, right? It does a lot. And I feel like when you're working on something like a new service that you want to integrate with, like Azure, there's so much to learn that you want the hardware to not be a problem, because there is always that initial problem of like, you've got the hardware, you got your sensors, and then you have to connect to the service, and like you've got like 6 unknowns going on here. And with CircuitPython, we tried really hard to take away a lot of the unknowns. Like, we make the debugging of the hardware side a lot easier, and so you can learn the Azure software side. The next project will use a single board computer as well. We're working on that guy next. But how can you learn how to use this very advanced IoT system? And whether or not you actually use CircuitPython in production, you at least can get a feel for like, well, how can I interface with stuff? How do I use
you don't have to be
the digital twin stuff and the alerts?
An electronics expert to do stuff with Azure. That's the approach. It's kind of like how our philosophy, I think, with like even robotics, it's like you shouldn't have to know everything about power to do robotics, because like that's a separate skill set. You should be working on like getting things moving and having a robot do something. Not just like, I need to study batteries for 10 years. Anyways, so next up.
Next up, there's more feather guides that got updated. And then next, a mega guide. We'll go back up.
You want me to go this way?
Yeah. QMK on the RP2040. Yes, it's true. You can now use QMK, which is the most popular keyboard firmware system and for open hardware in the world. It has been ported to the RP2040. It's still in the develop branch. It's not mainline yet, which means that in this tutorial we show you how to install the compiler setup, and you build the firmware. We do have some pre-built firmware for you for like the macro pad, but just be aware it's in development, and hopefully in the next month or two it'll move into the mainline, and then you'll be able to use the configurator tools online to create like custom key maps. But for now you have to do it by hand. Still, if you're interested in using QMK on the RP2040, it is now possible, and we have a guide to do it.
Good work, Jeff.
Yep. And then we also have a guide for the LSM60S3 TR plus LIS3 MDL. That's that 9DOF sensor we talked about. And then, again, some more feather guides got some power updates. But I think that's it. This is all, I think, from last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have 2,706 guides right now, plus a lot of updates.
A lot. I know we're doing a lot of updates, but it's good. I like to go through, and we go through the feedbacks, and we do the best we can with keeping the guides up to date.
Yep. And because everyone was so good, and you listened to us pontificate about IoT devices and more, you get a cat video.
You can track your pet's food consumption over time with this IoT Scale project using Microsoft Azure and CircuitPython. The project uses an Adafruit QtPy ESP32S2, which has built-in Wi-Fi and a STEMMA port for connecting sensors over I2C. The scale is built with a strain gauge and an NAU 7802 stemma board. The strain gauge is mounted so that it measures the torque being applied from the weight of the food container. With the press of a button, you can send the current weight to Azure or modify CircuitPython code to send at certain times of the day. Tracking inventory is a great use case for an IoT project. Using Azure's charts and data line capabilities, you can see usage trends over time and even create text and email alerts when inventory gets low. See how you can build your own by checking out the Learn guide at learn.adafruit.com.
All right, it's now time for some advanced manufacturing here at Adafruit. And it wouldn't be main New York City factory footage without the giant shadow of the mouse growing across the street. This is the Disney building.
Mega Mouse.
I noticed that, so the Orville is now on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I had to ask someone the other day. I was like,
Really? Wait, how is that on
I
Disney?
know they own it. I guess they own it now. I was asking someone the other day. I was like, I heard that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game Shredder was cool, and they're like, yeah, it was a good game. And I'm like, wait a second, does Disney also own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And none of us knew. Who
Yeah,
owns it?
we
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Did they eventually?
Hasbro?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Who knows? Yes,
Mystery.
all of it, some of it, soon.
Sure.
Who knows? Okay. $3D printing. All right. No and Pedro are off this week, so no 3D printing. Just kidding. We have a speed up video when we do. Next week, Noah and Pedro will be back for 3D Hangouts, and expect all sorts of goodness and 3D printing and learning how to make all this stuff and more. Some breaking news from the chat. So Paramount owns Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Paramount has their own streaming service for now.
Okay.
So,
Good to know.
So,
Yeah.
you know, That's who owns them.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Great.
Okay, it's time for some Eye on MPI.
Eye on MPI.
This week's Eye on MPI is from Renaissance, brought to you by DigiKey and Adafruit. Ladyada, what is this week's new product introduction?
It's great. It's from Renaissance, which we've only done once before. So I do like to highlight a bunch of different companies. Renaissance is a massive multinational, but originally Japanese company. And they make a whole bunch of products. So when this popped up, this sensor, and you know me, I love sensors. This is the FS1015. It is an airflow velocity sensor. It comes in this package. I'll show it on the overhead later, but there's basically a slot in the sensor. It's kind of an all-in-one module. There's a slot, and you can blow air through it up to 15 meters per second, which I looked up. It's 30 miles per hour. And it will generate a signal for you and allow you to measure it. This is a cool sensor because it uses solid-state MEMS thermotransfer technique, which I don't know about this principle, but apparently this is what it uses, and it seems to work quite well. And so it's coated, even though this is designed for air, it could probably be used for other gases, and you don't have to worry about, corrosion or clogging. Most flow sensors that we've seen, water flow sensors in particular, use an impeller like this, where, it's hooked up to a Hall effect sensor when air or water flows through. The little fan spins around, and you can do the counts, and then you convert the counts into meters per second or overall flow rate. For wind speed, of course, folks are familiar with anemometers, or these are sometimes used at airfields or airports, but also people have them on top of their houses sometimes, or their this traditional farmhouse. There's a little rooster with one of these rotating cups, and by counting the speed of the rotation, you can calculate wind speed. So this sensor is, of course, much smaller and doesn't have mechanical parts, which is great. It's like one less thing that you have to worry about possibly breaking. And this is part of a series of sensors. So if you're like, hey, this is a cool airflow sensor, but what if I want to do liquid sensing? There's also the FS20 or 1012, which is Renaissance owns IDT, Integrated Data Technologies, and they made a version that had these barb prong tubing connectors, so that it can be used for liquid. Same overall deal, same kind of sensor, but those sensors, I believe, are analog only, but they do basically use the same functionality. So this is the air version of the liquid sensors. So this is just to indicate for people, also stocked by DigiKey. They have quite a few of these in stock. The FS1012 is used for liquid sensing. So check that out if this is not quite you want something fluid, not gaseous. Okay, but this is a sensor. So what I thought was really interesting about this sensor is oftentimes sensors like these just give you like a kind of a weird analog output, or they give you like a resistive output. Then you have to set up a bridge or some current sensing or whatever, and you need a op amp and all this wiring. But what was really neat is this sensor. When I saw the pinout, I loved it because it's you have power and ground, and I think it's 3 to 5 volts power and ground. There's an analog output, which we'll show next, and then there's I2C output. So that's really handy because a lot of microcomputers these days, if you want to hook this up to say your Raspberry Pi, it doesn't have analog input. You could use I2C instead. So this is the flow graph. There's 2 versions of this sensor. This is just one version. This is the 7.5 meter per second max versus the 15 meter per second max. And you can see the analog output is linear-ish. They do give you a table that you can use to calculate. And then in the middle is the analog voltage, 0 to 5 volts, and then on the right is the output in counts. So the I2C, which is not linear, but the I2C output will give you a digital count, and then you can convert that to air velocity. The I2C interface is pretty straightforward. You query it on address 50. You get 5 bytes. 3 of those bytes are checksum, beginning checksum, end checksum, and then there's 2 bytes in the center that contain the 12 bits of measurement data. So it's pretty straightforward. I whipped up some Arduino code in like 10 minutes, and it worked just great. I blew into it, and I'll show the demo as well. It increments the numbers, and you can plot it very easily. So this is me sort of blowing into the sensor while running the Arduino plotter. And then I can also show that.
Yeah, so it's available at DigiKey. There is some in stock. There's 14 right now. And let's do your demo, and then we have a video.
Yeah, so let's show the demo. So I just have this hooked up on the overhead here. Let me just turn on the autofocus lock. So I've got it on a feather, and I'm just using a STEMMA QT cable to make the wiring easy. This is the sensor itself, so you can see it here. And then this is the slot. So you can see there's no impeller, there's no mechanical connection, but there is a hole that you expect air to go through. And then, the natural, just like, airflow from a room is about 500. And then if I go over here and blow into it,
Neat.
you can see my lips there.
You won.
Yes, I win the game, which is you can make the flow rate sensor go up. So works really great. It's a very easy way to use it, and I love that it comes with both analog and digital sensors.
All right, here's a really cool video. We'll see you on the other side.
This is Renesas. Renesas was born after 3 Japanese technology giants, Hitachi, Mitsubishi Electric, and NEC, took the bold step of merging their semiconductor businesses to create one company. It is from this rich technological heritage derived from these companies that the foundation of Renesas is formed. Our proven technology and unwavering commitment to quality are what set us apart from our peers as a world-leading semiconductor company. More recently, Renesas began expanding its footprint in Silicon Valley, first with the acquisition of Intercell in 2017, and then IDT in 2019. Renesas successfully combined its proven quality with top-class safety standards and technical competency, with the innovative products and entrepreneurial spirit of Intercell and IDT. In 2021, Renesas completes its acquisition of Dialog, expanding its footprint in Europe. With Intercell, IDT, and Dialog now in the fold, Renesas enters a new era as a truly cosmopolitan company with a progressive mindset and a modern vision to lead the industry.
Okay, and so that was a fun video, and also you can see how to pronounce the name, Renesas.
Which is actually like why I picked the video. I was like, how do you pronounce it? Also, I didn't know that they owned all those companies. Like, I didn't know Dialog when it was a Renesas
And the
company.
best part is, you can imagine when they're putting this together, they're like, hey, we need to show how we've globally expanded, but we have the Samurai, but the Samurai has to get on a plane, and you're not allowed to have Samurai swords on planes.
This is not the Kill Bill universe where
So
samurai swords are allowed
I just
on
like that
planes.
it was that thoughtful. They're like, they got to get on the plane, but they can bring a sword with them.
No.
So, like, you just drop the sword off right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get all the way through security, but on the plane, do the right thing. Drop the sword.
But maybe he also realized that the next journey for him did not require a sword. Maybe he doesn't need it anymore.
Blade cuts both ways. Okay, so that's this week's INMPI. In the chat, you guys says sword drop is the samurai mic drop.
It's true.
It's just like, I'm going on a plane. Okay, let's make sure that y'all know what the code is, Microbots, and let's do some new products, Ladyada.
Yep. New. Sword drop. New.
All right. Store your hopes and dreams in the overhead compartment. Ladyada is going to break it down.
Bam. Okay. We've got actually this week is all JP's favorite products. JP's recommended a couple items for us.
So like Hal's children.
Yeah, well, JP really likes old synthesizers, and these are
Dave, it's triplets.
these are step switches. They're very evocative of the TR-808 and other synthesizers and drum machines. They use these kinds of step switches. We have them now in packs of 3. What's cool about them is they're hinged. They've got a great tactile feel, and of course, they've got that 3mm red LED built into them. On the bottom, so actually, let's go through the colors. So we also
we have a bunch of colors.
We have gray with red LED, we have yellow with red LED, and we
Yeah.
have blue with red LED.
All right. Do you want me to just show the different colors?
Well, yeah, but then at the last
Okay.
photo, just stop.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. So all of them on the bottom, you can check this out from the data sheet that we have linked. So the top 2 pads up there are, the ones that say that there's like a negative and plus next to it. That's the LED. So the LEDs are red LED. It's like a standard 2-volt forward voltage, 10 to 200 milliamp LED. It does not come with a resistor. So whatever you're pairing it with, you'll want to have a resistor in line if you don't have constant current. And then there's 4 pads, 4 pins below. And this is an SPDT switch, which is a little confusing. Most momentary switches are SPST, either they're open or closed. This one, those pins at the middle are the single throw, and then the 2 pins at the bottom are the single pole, and the bottom are the double throw. So one of those pins, I think the one on the left is connected normally, and the one on the right is not connected normally, and they alternate. So the middle pin switches between the 2. Basically just means that like no matter what your hookup, chances are you can use the switch. You can also use it to switch between 2 signals if needed. And then I have a little demo I can show. So
Yeah.
the LED and the switches are separated. They're not
I'm going to show these
connected
colors
together.
again.
Show them again. And we'll have more colors. We just got only half of them in so far.
All right.
So this demo is really simple. I just have this hooked up to 3 volts. And then I have the switch hooked up in series with the LED. The LED and the switch, again, are totally separate. But in this case, I connected them together so that when I press this switch, the LED lights, and it lights up nice and bright. But it's a nice little indicator. And of course, you can PWM the LED. You can have it be sequenced separately. And it's very nice and clicky. I'm going to bring it next to the microphone to get the clicky effect.
Yeah. So imagine, hear that? That's what's going
That's
on
the
there.
click. Okay.
Okay.
Step switches.
All right, next up.
Next up.
We've got a lot of these, and they're all different colors. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go through the photos really fast because y'all know what's going on here.
Yep, these are potentiometer knobs. They're I call them micro potentiometer knobs. They're sometimes, I'll say, well, the demo we actually showed them on a rotary encoder. It works with both, and I'll show why. But we have them in multiple colors: cream, white, yellow, orange, and red. We'll have again more colors shortly. We only got to taking photos of 5 of the colors. We also have one special rainbow pack. Rainbow pack comes with 10 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, brown, white, black, cream. So we're also going to work on trying to get clear, translucent ones, but they're actually made of a slightly different material, so they're taking longer to get made for us.
Yeah.
So what's neat about these is if you look on the bottom, actually this photo is really good just because it shows, all the different forms. So the bottom has this kind of like grippy thing going on there, but don't worry about that because even though it looks like it's a T18 knob, it's not. It's actually a fully round 6mm shaft knob that will fit on any potentiometer or rotary encoder or what have you that uses a 6mm shaft, which is again like 99% of potentiometers and rotary encoders. And then there is a set screw, and you scroll the set screw. You tighten the set screw after you've attached it to whatever you want, and it will stay in place. So I do like that. It's a little bit more expensive to have a set screw because it's a separate item, but it means that we don't have to carry like D shaft versus T18 versus round. Works with everything. And so these are also sometimes called Davies 1900 style. I think that's just it's like a machine or guitar that used similar sized knobs, they're not guaranteed to be that shape and color and size. They're just in that style. They're all the same to each other, but they may not be the same as this style of knob.
Is the screw aligned with the indicator on the top?
That's a good question. The answer is...
Let's go to the overhead for the answer.
Let's go to the overhead. So this
Bum, bum,
is...
bum, 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 bum.
Let me get close.
And the answer is...
Hold on. Okay. So this is the indicator,
Yeah.
and it looks like it's on the exact opposite side.
There you go.
So this is on one end and this is on the other. So it's on the opposite side.
And they do go to 11.
Yes.
Okay, and we have the rainbow pack. That's probably what you wanted to.
Yep,
by
and the
way.
rainbow pack,
Yeah.
which we'll have those other colors. We'll have the green and
Yeah.
blue and purple. We'll get them shot next week.
Okay, the star of the show tonight, besides you, Ladyada, our community, our customers, and the entire Adafruit team is...
Dun, 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 the MMC 5603 magnetometer. It is such a tiny little, it's a little chip in the center, which was very exciting. We haven't done a lot of actually this is our first 0.4 millimeter BGA chip. And we're basically using the sensor because, as you may know, there's a chip shortage. The most popular magnetometer that we've loved to use, the LIS3 MDL, has been tough to get. A lot of ST sensors are. And that just means that's an opportunity for growth. That's an opportunity for us to go out and find more magnetometers. And so we found the MMC 5603. We talked about it on a desk of Ladyada. It's a wonderful magnetometer. It's triple axis, so you get X, Y, and Z data. It's 3 volt logic, uses I squared C, so we put a 3 volt regulator and level shifter.
Yeah, sorry, you're pressing me, but I...
Yeah, we have a STEMMA QT connector on it, so you can plug and play it for easy connection. We recommend pairing this with a gyro accelerometer, so you can make a 9DOF sensor. And then I have some header, and it has a fixed address of X30, and it also has a range of plus or minus 30 Gauss. So it means it's good for measuring. It's a 20-bit ADC, 30 Gauss. The Earth's magnetic field is about like plus or minus 1 Gauss. So this will work quite well for measuring the Earth's magnetic field. It'll also work for some weak magnets, but I will say, like, I put a rare earth magnet right up against it, and it like totally was like, whoa, too much magnet. So it's not great for really close up powerful magnets. It is going to be fine for Earth magnetic field if you want to use it in a 9DOF sensor or some basic, magnetic sensing and orientation. So I've got a little demo.
You got some congrats from the chat on the BGA.
Thanks.
abilities.
Well, you know what? It's not me. It's actually the machines team. They're
right.
the ones who figured it out.
We did it.
I threw them at it, and they succeeded. Okay, so let's. Okay, so this is a quick little demo just showing it's measuring the Earth's magnetic field here because I didn't bring a magnet with me. But it works.
Get a magnet?
No, this is
Okay.
fine. It's just showing. I mean, most people are going to be using this for compasses and orientation sensing, and so just showing it works, very well for that. The 20-bit ADC measurement means that even though it has a very wide range, you get pretty good accuracy and precision.
I have a magnet in these headphones. You might bring that over there and see how that
No,
works.
it's
You don't
okay.
wanna do that?
No.
Okay.
I didn't test. I don't like live demos are risky.
Yeah.
But yes, this is a new magnetometer.
Where's the chip on the board? Can you point out where it is since it's so small?
It's so tiny. I mean, you can't see it here. Actually, our
Yeah.
photos are better to show.
Someone
it.
was joking around that the chip shortage is because the chips got so small. We just misplaced them all or something.
Well, ironically, one of the
Yeah,
things,
that's it in the middle. Wow, that
that's
is
in the
small.
middle. It's tiny. So one of the
Wow,
things that's
I need to zoom in for the next time.
yeah, one of the
I
things
didn't
that
realize that.
one of the things that's interesting that we've noticed is that part of the chip shortages, we're finding that the chips that are available tend to be there you go, tiny. The chips that are available tend to
I
be
mean, come on.
BGA. Yeah, it's tiny, but it's 0.4 millimeter pitch, and it's only 4 pads, so it's not too bad. I think we use a 6/6 rule, and
Yeah, there it is in the middle.
we
So
start with a breakout.
that is
Yeah,
that.
it's tiny, but you know what? Good. With the next version of the Feather Sense, we'll
Yeah.
use this chip. It'll be nice and small, but it
All
does
right.
work very well.
I guess we have to get an electron microscope for our product photo soon.
Oh, the sensor also has a very nice degaussing, magnetization capability, which I do like. It also has an onboard temperature sensor. So all around, it's a very nice sensor. But yeah, it's about 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter, maybe
This is
less.
cool. And that's new products. Okay, load up your questions over in Discord, adafruit.it/discord, or discord.gg/Adafruit. Join all 35,000 of us. We're going to do some top secret while you're asking questions over there.
Yeah.
Okay, top secret. First up, we're going to play a little video of you making something, and then we have 3 breakouts we're going to talk about. Okay, what are you working on here?
This is, as I mentioned, some parts you can't get, and so we're always on the lookout for more part options. This is from ST. It's a very, it's a NIST traceable, I think, 0.1 or 0.5 degrees Celsius temperature sensor that works over I²C, and it's always good to have more temperature sensors.
Okay.
This is, I think, last week's INMPI. We thought we'd turn this into a breakout board. I toss on a crystal, toss on some passives components, and just see how this works. It could be a good option for people who want to turn a high power thing into a low power thing.
And
this is the easy link that we're going to try bringing back from the dead.
all right, that's
We'll
this
see.
week's top secret. Okay.
Cast turn.
Some folks had some questions. We're going to answer those. Let's bounce right there. Questions, you've got them. We answer them.
Yes.
Okay. Ladyada, you were about to say something about some insights on the chip availability right before we doing other stuff.
I think I was just saying that the parts that are available are going to be finer pitch, so you have to kind of deal with that.
Okay.
That if you're going to discontinue something, a company's probably going to discontinue their massive SOIC or TQFP.
I think this is a question to figure out if we're replicants.
What?
How would you ship a vinyl record to Florida during the middle of the summer without it turning into a taco?
Ooh, that is tough.
So I just got a record in the mail, and it was
They
shipped.
have vinyls. Yeah.
And it was shipped in a pretty stiff cardboard record thing. But Florida, I grew up there. It was really hot. If you were really that concerned, I'd probably use dry ice and ship it the way you ship food, because that's been kind of figured out. Like I've bought like food.
Well,
and
air
it's-
is a very good insulator, so I would just put it in a very large box
Yeah.
with like a very airy stuff in the middle that supports it. But it's risky. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if it was really valuable and really important, I would ship it overnight, and I would use a temperature control box.
Yeah.
That you can use dry ice with.
Why did you turn the vinyl record into a taco?
I know. Doesn't it sound like a Blade Runner test?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you get it to not be a taco in the summer heat?
What was the guy's name? The guy who's
Deckard?
No, the guy who's being questioned at the time.
Oh, good trivia question for the.
Ooh, I remember. You know what he looks like. and-
Yeah, good trivia
Yeah.
question for the chat. What was the name?
Why
of
are
the-
you asking me that?
What was the name of the replicant?
What was the name of the replicant?
Okay, next up. Does a tiny sensor come on a standard tape and reel?
Yeah.
Really?
It does. It's just like tiny.
Is it- okay.
But here's the thing. It's like I have to learn how to use these chips. We have, this is just that's what's available.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks ago, I think we were talking about a Maxim Class D amp. It's only available in BGA.
Okay, question from Twitch. What is a good connector for 0.100 inch header pins that has a commercial grade hand crimper like the Molex hand crimpers?
Well, to be honest, I would just, we have in the shop these Molex kits. that you can like DIY your own cables, and I would use that. I would not hand crimp any connectors because I've done that and I hate it. But you know, the 0.1 inch, there's the Berg stick, there's Molex. There's a couple companies that have 0.1 inch spacing. But I would recommend just getting the kit that we have and just DIYing your own connectors.
What I like about the electronic community we have is the overlap of Blade Runner trivia enthusiasts and people who do electronics is very high. And the answer is Leon.
Oh, that's right, Leon. Why won't you answer the question, Leon?
Yeah. Okay. Are there any more BGA boards coming?
This is the only one for now, but yes, of course, there will be more.
Yeah. Okay. Are there, when suggesting products to carry or new ideas, do you consider PCB layouts to connect third-party products to a feather side PCB or a ton more looking for actual already made electronics? In other words, does it have a possibility to be considered or not really excite you? Just want to know for future ideas. Thanks.
You know, I don't know until I see the idea. We have stuff that connects to other stuff, but it's, you know, I do have to think about availability. If it's like, hey, here's this really obscure thing, it has to be really cool for me to spend the time and effort to design a board. That said, you should always send emails to contact us. I think about 20% of the things that get sent to me get turned into products or stuff we stock.
Yeah.
So you have like a 1 in 5 chance. That's a better chance than getting into Harvard.
Oh. And the person who asked the record question, they ordered one of our records. We actually have a record. Luckily for us, when we got these records, we did testing. And so these records are modern record. Not that it matters, but like these were made in the last 10 years. And the pink vinyl and the way that these are made, apparently, they don't warp and bend.
Yeah, it's really
as much.
thick. It's like the 200 gram or 250 gram.
Yeah, and we've been shipping these for like 7 years now.
We've never had an issue with them.
We've never had a record not make it. So for really old records, though, that's where you have to be really careful. Age is, it gets us all. Question, I'm having trouble getting example Arduino code working for the OLED breakouts to compile for the RP2040. Do you know if the Adafruit GFX or SSD 1306 libraries are currently incompatible with the RP2040?
I know that they're not. I know that they do work. They're not incompatible, which means they are compatible. However, if you're using the Arduino embed core, I do not guarantee that works because I don't own any boards that use it. So if you're using like a Nano 33 or Nano RP2040 or something from Arduino that uses their embed core, please open an issue with Arduino and ask them to fix it because I'm using standard Arduino. And we use the Phil Hauer core, which is allowing third-party boards. So it's like I'm using this core, and I know that core works very well. We use it like on a daily basis.
Okay. Next up, I have an air purifier. Is that fine for when I'm soldering, or should I get something else for the solder fumes? You get something else.
I think it's a good idea to have, it's just something to pull the fumes away from you towards your air purifier. If the air purifier isn't on your desk, right? If it's on your desk, it's probably okay. But if it's like on the other side of the room, you want something to pull the.
You can also make,
air
something
away.
that gets the solder fumes away, but ideally you want to get them away and then air purifier somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And of course, if you can, it's not too hot, open up a little bit of window too.
That's true.
Are we only answer questions posted in Discord or on YouTube as well? Discord, and sometimes we get helpers to help us out because there's like 8 different chats. So we
bring them
focus
to
on
Discord. That's why we it's
age
free.
and magnetic media and music are the Achilles heel. Yeah. So many masters tapes get lost forever. It is true.
I know, like a fire, I'll take
It
you
is
out.
true.
It sucks.
All right. And them's our questions.
Them's the questions. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks, folks. Just a reminder. The code is Micropots, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. You can do it. Want to say special thanks to our Adafruit team. Let me see who's behind the scenes. Jesse May. Hello, Jesse May.
Hey, Jesse May.
In the Adafruit Slack chat, running things behind the scenes, helping our team and more. Special thanks to everyone in the community, all of our customers, everyone who's helping us keeping this thing going, because every day is a new adventure and we will continue to ride this wave together. This has been an Adafruit production. Here is your Moan of Zener. Good night, everybody.